Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to our channel. How's everyone doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, Obodo fam, show some love to Auntie B. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today. Take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.
Thank you very much, everybody, for being here tonight. Welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, the 17th of September 2024. Thanks to all my returning subscribers, Obodo fam. I had you guys kindly give us a thumbs up before we get into the show. I'm going to try to be as brief as possible tonight. It's just for learning. I'm not sharing this story because we want to shame this young lady, or rather, it's something that is already in the public domain. It's on all the major British, both written, um, newspapers, television, everywhere. It's been shared. And as I said in my last show, this happened actually in 2022. But you know how the wheels of justice winds very slowly, very slowly. Brownie, I can see your message. Your friend in Spain. You do know that I'm not an emergency service, right? So if it's something that is urgent, tell her to call the police, okay? Uh-huh. Because the way you are writing the message, it seems like it's something that is quite urgent. If it's urgent, she needs to go to the authority in her home country. I'm not an emergency service, all right? We are not emergency service here on Obodo Farm. So if it's something that is quite urgent, please tell her to call the emergency services in that country, okay? I'm addressing Brownie, or is it Browns? Browns that said, Auntie B, I need your number. My friend in Spain needs help. She's in a DV situation. Okay, that's my WhatsApp on the screen. But like I said, please, if it's urgent and she's afraid for her life for whatever reason, she needs to get the authorities involved. Okay? All right. She feels alone. Okay, we're about to talk about something else now. Browns. Okay? So please, I need to focus on this. Okay. Thank you. My number is on the screen. Just take a screenshot. Good evening, Obodo fam. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. So tonight, I want to talk about this young lady. She's a Nigerian, a nurse. This happened back in 2022, but she's just recently been sentenced. So a lot of people are jackpying, as you guys know. The issue of jackpot is not it's not something new anymore. Even the British Oyibo people know what jackpot means now. No thanks to that what's his name? Tamiyu. Tamiyu told them what jackpot means. So everybody knows jackpot is real. Like the brain drain in Nigeria is real. Everybody's getting out. Everybody who can get out. Even those who haven't gotten out yet, they are thinking about it and planning, strategizing, because it's survival is a human thing. It's a human need to survive. So people are getting out. Unfortunately, because of the haste and the way the number of people that are getting out, the flights, mode, because it's almost like flight or fight now, right? People are not aware that Obodoyibo is completely different from Naija. Mm? hmm So, yeah, no, they didn't deport him. Sincerely, don't. That news was fake news. Don't mind them. They didn't deport him. He's still posting on YouTube. There's so many fake news out there. Somebody just came up one day and decided to do that video. it's terrible. So this is what happened. I'm just gonna go straight because I don't want to beat around the bush. Like I said, I want to be very brief. The young lady that you're looking at is the person that is we're talking about. She was working in the NHS as a nurse. Her name is Ruth. Ruth Auta. Uta. Only 28 years old. She's from Nigeria and she was working in an NHS hospital in Manchester. Okay. Now, we don't have much background information about this young lady. At the moment, no mention of the baby daddy, whether she's married or single. Obviously, I think she's single for her, to have to go to work. I mean, I do understand. If you want to go with empathy, you do understand why a woman who just gave birth, because the baby was 10 weeks. 10 weeks is 2 months, just above 2 months old. Why a woman who just gave birth for only 2 months will feel the need to go back to work. Okay, maybe she needed to pay her rent. Maybe there's a lot of black tax, a lot of family responsibility and all that depending on her. Maybe the father didn't want to help her, and she was all alone and she felt the need that she needed to go and work. But as much as we want to start with empathy, 10 weeks is not 10 months. 10 weeks is not 10 years. So, I mean, I'm struggling to even understand how you can think of leaving a baby that young alone all through the night. So, this is what happened. They say she's a single mother, 28 years old. Uh, she left the baby. She had a nurse's accommodation. So I'm thinking, because they say she has a nurse's accommodation, I'm thinking she's one of these nurses that was employed from Nigeria. Because if you work in health and social care, you can actually, or if you are a teacher, they do employ you. You can get employment from Nigeria. So when they mention nurses accommodation, I'm thinking she probably got employed from Nigeria. Uh, yeah. So she left the baby. Yeah, she left the baby in his crib. Is a baby boy called Joshua. Joshua Akirile. Hmm. Joshua Akirile. So the father is definitely an Akirile. So there's a Yoruba man out there that is the father. And she left the baby for 8 hours so that she can go and do shift work in December of 2022. So when she returned back to her room, she found that Joshua was no more. Like, you know, yeah, Joshua was no more. She found him in his court. And then she called 999, which is the emergency number for the UK. She reported that Joshua was not breathing when she called 999. And when the ambulance service came to her accommodation, they said that the baby was no more. So baby was pronounced by on when they arrived. Yeah. But later on, this is not, again, this is the problem with people who think that this is Naija or this is Africa. I can do whatever I want and get away with it. The reason why a lot of people get caught when they do anything in this part of the world is they have resources to do tests, they have forensic, they will investigate. They don't just accept somebody by, they want to know why. So they did a lot of tests on the infant, and then they found that he had suffered from overheating. The test showed that he had overheated due to the layers of clothing and bedding that he was wrapped in. So it was December. December is winter, right? December is very cold in the Western world. So what Ruth had done was to wrap the baby up properly so that the baby would not be cold, left him in his cot, and went to work. Night shift. All right. So when the police came, because whenever something like this happens, they'll bring the police, they'll bring the ambulance, everybody is going to be asking questions. Uh, they questioned her, and then she told the police that she had left the baby with a childminder. Uh, she told the police that she collected the baby from the childminder after she finished her work and took him back home, fed him, and put him in his baby cot. And then she fell asleep. Yeah, that's the story she initially told the police. Then she claimed that when she woke up, after she slept and woke up, that she found that Joshua was unresponsive. Okay. Then they were interviewing her, and the Mail is reporting that later on in her police interview, that Ruth gave no comment to questions asked, and she was freed on bail pending further investigation. So they questioned her and they let her go, right? They didn't arrest her or anything. However, this is how she got into trouble. Police later found the CCTV in her accommodation. Remember, she's staying in a nurse's station, like a nurse's house. So I'm thinking it's a house that was provided for her by the organization that employed her, right? But they saw when they were checking during their investigation that Ruth left the house in the night. They saw it on CCTV that she left the house and that she returned in the morning. She was entering in the morning. And when she was leaving the house in the night, she didn't have Joshua with her. Yeah. She did not have Joshua with her. And then they checked her phone. Who was it? Once upon a time, I think when Ola was here, the last time we had a show, we were talking about having, text, how text message can put you in trouble. Even if you delete it, they can still trace it. I don't think anything in our digital footprints can be deleted completely. Honestly, especially with these smartphones, they have a way of find. There are softwares that they will use and find it, even if you deleted it. So they now found text on her phone where she was telling the childminder that if the police should come and interview you, that you should tell them that you had Joshua with you that day. So the childminder refused. Childminder told the police officers that she had not seen the infant. She's not seen Joshua for a couple of days. And that's how she was arrested and charged. She was charged with cruelty. Yeah. Charged her with cruelty to a child. And then when they took her to court, she pleaded guilty at the Manchester Magistrate Courts in May of 2024. The incident happened December of 2022. But see how long it took before she was arrested. I'm sure she probably thought the matter is over. But they still came for her. Right? So they adjourned it, and then June 6th, she tried to run. Ruth tried to flee from the UK to go back to Nigeria. Remember, she was charged May of 2024. The incident happened in December 2022. That's 2 whole years ago. So June 6th, she bought a ticket and tried to leave to go back to Nigeria. She was already in the airport. She was at Gatwick Airport. And she was attempting to board the flight. One-way ticket she bought. Trying to board the flight when they took her off. They arrested her from the airport and put her in jail because she was bailed. And when you're on bail, you don't run. Because if they bail you and you're on bail, you run, then they will now put you in custody until whenever they are going to do the judgment or whenever the matter is going to be concluded. So they put her in jail. And then finally, the case was heard and she was sentenced this year. She was sentenced, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they sentenced her. So 3 years imprisonment. They sentenced her to 3 years in jail. And the prosecutor said that while she went to work to provide care for other people, Ruth left the very person who needed her care the most at home alone. As a nurse, she should have known the dangers of leaving her baby unattended. As she begins her sentence, she must now live with the consequences of the terrible decision she made that day. And the police said something that really, really shook me. They said that she showed no remorse throughout the case. Like she didn't have any emotions. Like how, uh, you know, if a mother who really wanted to be a mother or who really loved their child suffers from whatever, anything that happens to the child, you feel broken. But they said she didn't feel anything. And she misled the police about the child care arrangements and then tried to evade justice by attempting to flee the country. Yeah. She left uh yeah. When she left Joshua alone at home. And then she came back, hours later after she completed her shift. And then when she saw that Joshua was, not all right, she called the ambulance service. Oh, it's not even a night shift. It's a day shift because they said that I thought it was a night shift. It's not, it's a day shift. I beg your pardon. The police said that she left her accommodation shortly after 6:30 a.m. to carry out the shift, leaving Joshua behind. And at 3:24 p.m., that's 6:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., that's when she called the police that her son was not all right. He wasn't breathing. And when the ambulance came, despite all the attempt to resuscitate him, it didn't work. It didn't work. They said it was a healthy baby, but that he had overheated. And babies now, they are still very, very young. They have not built the immune system. They are, very vulnerable. Babies are very, very vulnerable. And they've opened an inquest now into Joshua's by Bolton authorities. That's the local authority where she was working. Yeah. So that is the long and short of the story. Mhm. Debbie said, Auntie B, I'm in Nigeria and I worked as a children's social worker for 14 years in various local authority in London. Why, sir? This story does not surprise me. Oh, wow. I'm shocked, Debbie. I know that people do sometimes make that mistake of leaving their children to go look work, but a 10 weeks old baby, that is the part that really, really shocked me. Okay, so the reason why we're even talking about this today is that people need to learn that in this part of the world there are rules. Iluofin. My sister used to say, "You live in Iluofin. This is Iluofin. Is a country that actually have rules that work." Mm, yeah, they have rules that work. So when you come to a country like this, you need to learn what the rules of the country are. If you are breaking the laws or not. Yeah, you need to learn. Yeah. 10 weeks old, 10 weeks. Only 10 weeks. Now, a lot of Nigerians who come here will leave their children to go to work. Even couples, they do take that risk. So, the children's social workers will tell you all the time they call them, because a neighbor has called the police to report. Guys, please give us a thumbs up if you're just joining. Yeah, they do take that risk and say, after all, I left food for them. They tell them they're watching TV and they will go. If you are listening to this tonight and you are in that category, you do that, yeah, and you think nobody will know. Hmm. Every day for the thief, one day for the owner. They will find out, and if they find out, they will take your children. And then you run to social media and start saying they took my children. Whenever anybody contact me and say, Auntie B, social services have taken my children. Social services are not witches and wizards. Social workers are not magicians. They work based on evidence. There's got to be evidence. It's not based on suspicion. Somebody told us that. Somebody told this person that. It's not gossip. It's evidence. There needs to be evidence that, okay, you did this, and this is against the law. It's simple. So a lot of people who are coming, people who are the shashede, jackpot people, are getting into trouble with child social services because of issues around maybe child care, leaving children to go to work, leaving children to care for other younger children when they are not old enough. Yeah. Guys, please give us a thumbs up if you are just joining. We are talking about, this leaving children to go to work. Children are not old enough to go to work. What are the lessons that we can learn from it? Because it's one thing to say that, okay, I'm leaving my children to run to a corner store that is 5 minutes away, quickly running there to come back. It's another thing for you to leave for hours to go to work. It's another thing. And I know that some women or some couples even do this. They will say the children are sleeping. Shebi is night, they are sleeping. Let me quickly go and do night shift. Have you heard of fire outbreak at night? Children crawling out of bed, going to the kitchen, putting on cooker. Anything can happen. For a child that is not mature yet, everything is a hazard. Health and safety, very, very important. Everything is a hazard. Stairs is a hazard. Fridge is a hazard. Freezer, anything, kitchen especially. Bathroom are big hazards. Even ordinary tap that is running can be a hazard. So as much as we have pressure to make money, there's a lot of bills to pay. We have, it's not easy. A lot of people borrow money before they come here. So when they come here, they feel the pressure to pay that money back. They feel the pressure to pay that money back. And so they have to walk back to back. It's not an easy thing. When you jackpot and you feel like, oh God, you are owing millions. Or the people that have supported you to jackpot, you need to pay the money back. You have to work. Nobody is saying that people should not work, but please be mindful of the laws of the land. Yeah, you need to be mindful. You have to be mindful. Tonya, you want to call in? Okay. All right, let me share my link. Yeah. Anybody that wants to call in should please get in the studio. You must be. Oh, Tonya, you had an experience, didn't you? I remember. You had an experience the other year. I remember. Yeah. Share with us your experience, Tonya. I remember you called me about that. I just remember now that you had an experience too with social services. Yeah. You have to be very, very careful. At the end of the day, you don't want, because of where you want to make money, your children will not be taken into care. Nobody is looking for African children to take into care, to take into foster care. It costs a lot of money to take children into social care. It's not something that anybody is going to sit and say, you know what, we need to collect these African people's children today. Because UK does not have a declining population. In fact, they are, every day you hear them on TV shouting of too many people coming in, this, that. Hmm? They are eating their cats. They are eating the dogs. They are eating the pets. We have people like that too here. It's not only in America that you have crazy people that are eating cats. They are eating the dogs. Yeah. Tonya, the link is in the comment section. One has to be very, very careful, especially when you have children. You have to be very, very careful. All right. You need to be able to manage, especially, I mean, I know it's easier when you have a partner and you can kind of walk around it. Unfortunately, what it usually means is that you might end up not seeing each other when one is going to work, one is coming back. You might end up not having quality time, but it is what it is. You have to pay. You have to make sacrifices. Mm? Yeah. Ish said, I've been a registered nurse in Finland for 17 years now. I wonder how you can fully concentrate at work knowing that deep down you have left a 10-week-old baby at home. To be honest, I don't know whether this lady is all right. Mm, I really don't know, because when the police said that she had no emotion and she was trying to cover it up, it seems like the baby was not wanted. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, I think maybe it was a baby that just happened by accident, or the father doesn't want, or they're just having an affair or having boyfriend girlfriend and she got pregnant. Yeah. Uh-huh. Debbie said, I do independent social work with families to educate Nigerians and West Africans on how to parent in the UK and TB. I use your videos as part of my assessment to determine the knowledge learned. Thank you so much. That's amazing. That's good work you are doing. Thank you so much. Yeah, fire cried 4 children in the early 90s around Lambro Grove. I used to walk around Lambro Grove Station. I used to walk there when I was working for one borough, Kensington and Chelsea. Very problematic place. When you hear the name, you think it's one grand place. Chai! Our eye, they see something, no? Yeah, so I know that area. Mother went to early morning and the oil heater caught fire and the 4 children in the house died due to smoke. Chai, see stories. People get mind, oh. It's not easy, oh. That is just, Chineke. Yeah, Tonya, welcome. How are you, darling? Unmute yourself. Sisi, you grew
Good
up
evening, Auntie B. Hello, everybody.
in your area. No wonder. I see. Now I know. I'm beginning to make sense now. Why you are so
What's
weird.
that? Auntie B
Tonya, welcome,
waiting.
Jerry. Sisi, they collect for my
Hel-
hand. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you had an experience with social services with this children thing, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You care to share?
And I mean, it was a lesson. Always a lesson. We keep learning every day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, mine was a friend. Was supposed to come to the house and I delayed coming. You know, this kind of, oh, you need to catch the bus the next 15 minutes. And the person said, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. 1 hour, 2 hours, I'm still on my way. And you decide to leave the house. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lesson learned. The best thing to do if that was to happen is just cancel the shift altogether.
Yeah. So I wanted to quickly just chip in. So if you live in the UK, you need to know the laws that apply to the country where you live. All right. So the laws in the UK might be different from the laws in Germany. The laws in the UK might be different from the laws in Australia. So you need to check. In the UK, the law says that the age that you can leave children alone, or you can leave a child alone at home, is 16. Mhm.
Unsupervised
16.
at 16.
At 16. However, that 16-year-old no mean pay you go leave 3 other children for the 16-year-old to be watching or to be minding.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is also illegal. You know how you say, look after your younger ones, so you are the older. We do it a
Mm-hmm.
lot in our community that we make the older ones look after the younger one. There's nothing wrong in it, but
Yeah.
a 16-year-old cannot be a child minder. So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot leave a 16-year-old with children that are like 10, maybe 12, and then you
4.
go and say because the oldest one is 16 that they should be watching over the younger one. It is illegal. You can't do that. So in case you didn't know, you are in the UK. 16 is that's what the law says. Okay. I needed to chip that in. All right, go ahead, my dear Tonya.
Yeah, that's correct. First and foremost, my contribution is when I'm in the line of business that I'm able to assist people coming to the UK through study route, make sure they get a job, assist with, or them settling in and referencing. So in my capacity, what I tend to find out is daddies, husbands, fathers are not keen to move right away. It doesn't mean they are not going to move in the next couple of years, but they want to take their time to move. It's a whole new thing for them. They're probably in their late 40s, early 50s, even 60s. But this their young wife of 20 years younger, or 30 or 15, she just want to move. Everybody else is traveling. She want to travel. So what tends to happen majority of the time is the wives are ready to travel with the children, two, three, four, and daddies are like, I'm still thinking about it. What will I go there to do? What kind of job will I be doing after all if I travel? I'm talking about US, Germany, Canada, UK, so many countries that we're able to assist people to get admission. So this is very, very prevalent. But what can I do? I do my best to counsel, to really ask them, Madam, if you're traveling with these four babies, all under 12, all under 16, have you ever thought of childcare? How you're going to cope with it? And they are very quick to just shush you, to be like, don't worry about it. When we get there, we'll sort it. No, I'm like, just tell me what's the plan? Because she's struggling to gather proof of funds for the visa application for the school fees. She's struggling, and she will be struggling for the first couple of years. It will get better, yes, but she hasn't even got enough to look after herself. But all she's thinking is, I'm going to pack these children, I'm going to travel, and there will be a neighbor to look after the children for me. So what I do is, please educate them to know what is at stake there when they travel. And another common thing is people will be like, I have an auntie in London, although my school is in Middlesbrough. So, they just think it's 1 hour away or 30 minutes away where the children and the auntie will be looking after the children like she will stop work and be
No,
looking after
they
the children for
no
them.
to the average person in Nigeria, they think everybody in the UK lives in London. They don't. I
Yes,
don't
of
think most
course.
people even know about all these places, Manchester, Scotland. No, everybody's in
Wales.
London. We are
Some
all
of them have
together
never
in
even
one
heard of
in
Northern
one place.
Ireland. They're
Exactly.
like,
So
which one is Northern Ireland? Okay,
yeah,
so because you have an auntie or a brother or a cousin living in London, if it's London anyway, doesn't mean that, and they have no agreement of childcare, but they're keen to just pack all the children, get on the flight, and travel. And that's a problem. Some people just know that they have an uncle somewhere in Texas, in Houston, but they're keen to travel. That person will leave everything and babysit for them or look after the children for them. But of course, it doesn't take even a month for them to get the shock of their life, and that's where relationships start to get rough and there's a drift because the people you thought are going to look after your children for you without
yeah.
without any agreement
Mm.
in your mind,
People you
they've
think will help
disappointed
you.
you.
Now you feel like they are not helping you. They are not helping you, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Imagine
Everybody they
yourself
help
and
themselves
TB
for
now.
Obodoyibo.
Imagine yourself and TB if you have children within the range of say your cousin coming into the UK. Mm, that may be understandable based on the fact that sometimes you do the school runs for your children and hers, and sometimes she does for your everybody else.
That's if your
Again, you might not
children
even
are in
live
the
in the same
same,
place.
and
But you've
that's
got
even if
you've
your
got kids that
children
are all grown up, and someone
exactly.
think they'll bring a 2 years or 3 years old children, a child, for you to leave everything you are doing and babysit for them. Relationships have fallen apart so much. It's a case of my sister does not want to look after my children. My cousin will not even let me bring my kids. Someone wanted to go and apply for international passport in London, and they have relatives that they could have taken two other kids to, but none of them wanted to help them hold the child. I don't know this from anywhere. I have they were not even related, but I just all of these acquaintances you just have. So I said to them, but they were willing to leave these younger ones, and two of them. It was only one that was going to renew passport. They were willing to leave two of them for 2 nights
Hey,
before I said to them, you can
imagine
bring the two to me.
2 nights to leave them alone at home. Tonya, your phone is
Hello?
buzzing there, so your
I
phone
just
is
caught the call.
buzzing.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So yeah, we all need to be very, very aware. Know the rules or the policies, the laws of the country you're going to. Have a solid plan in place. We all love our children as much as you love your kids. How about trying a different strategy? Would it be better if you travel alone and in a couple of months you come back and get the children? Maybe by then you've made friends, you've got a flat, and you manage to get flatmates. Just strategies. Keep trying different things. That is when it's a single parent household. Or if not, must you travel? They don't want to hear
So, so me, what
what
I
happened to
advise
them.
people,
Um,
this situation, I had this situation come up not too long ago with somebody that is like a family, and they wanted their sister was going to come here with, and she has 3 children, and I
mhm.
said, if she's going to come here, there's no point bringing these 3 children now. Because first of all, where's she going to stay? Have you seen our houses? Our houses are tiny. It's not in Nigeria that room is so big enough that 3, 4 people can share one room. Here, the highest you can put is a bunk bed, and it will be tight. So I
Is
said,
it only tiny? You'll be walking upstairs and people can hear your your footstep down, even if it's a block
so
of flat or a house. Like
yes. So
you'll be
I advised and
you'll
I
be
said, you know
tiptoeing.
what? I said, you know what? I don't advise you to bring for her to bring her 3 children now. Number one, she's not going to be able to work because she'll be thinking about childcare, she'll be thinking about school runs. Your house cannot accommodate 4 people. There are so many reasons. Number four, when
Yeah,
she's going to renew her visa, the cost of renewal for a family of 4.
it's £3,000 if you're renewing on student visa or post
And then
study
I
visa. You're
said,
looking at roughly 3,000.
again, the fifth reason why I discourage it, I said, if she's going to have to rent her own accommodation, all her money is going to be going towards bills. Because with 3 children, nobody is going to give her a house that is less than 2 bedroom. Do you know how much it is to rent a 2 bedroom flat in London? You are looking at
Hmm.
1,000. No matter how far you go, you can't get anything less than maybe 1,500, 600 before you pay your council tax, gas and electricity. You will eat, you pay transport, you will not save a dime. So I discourage it. I usually discourage people who have young children. Leave the children. If you have a capable person in Nigeria to look after the children, why you come? When you stabilize yourself, then you can bring them. Because if you come to all of you come together, sometimes, oh my goodness. I know it's not easy
I
leaving your
do.
children.
You discourage them, which is good. I try to advise and counsel because they are quick to just be like, "Oh, that's not what I want you to do. Just focus on getting me admission and focus on getting me visa.
And
That's
you
just the
are
main thing.
working
Don't
for
worry
them.
how I
That's
get,
why.
how I'm
You
going
are
to
working
cope."
for them, Tonya, so you can take your time to be counseling. I don't have time for that counseling.
Absolutely
Because
yes.
yeah, they are paying you to work
I've
for
got the
them.
patience for them,
My
but
advice
I
is
still
free.
make sure I tell them the truth.
Yeah, but my advice is free. Take it or leave it. It's not me. I mean, I'm
For
not going
for
to
for
babysit for you.
couples, for those who are married, who in the case where the men and the daddies are not ready to travel, I would ask the woman, would you want me to talk to your husband? I'm not trying to persuade him to travel with you. I'm not trying to convince him rather. But let's talk together. And during that call, when he's at the background, I said to him, if anything were to happen to your children, you too will be blamed. You know, just really think about it. He will be like, most of them just start throwing blame, like, oh, I told her not to travel, but she insists that she's going to travel. She would do it anyhow. Is her friend that is in Birmingham that is corrupting her? Is her is so person? They just start throwing blames at each other. But at that point, you know that Madam's mind is made up. She's traveling. But our guy is like, suit yourself. So this Japa fever is real, but everybody, please slow down on it. The economy is bad in Nigeria. In Africa as a whole, we know that, but please have a strategy in place. Someone mentioned she should have come with a nanny. Do you know what? Is there even a visa, a route to bring a nanny?
So with that
Educate
one,
me if you know.
with that one here, you got to be very careful about bringing somebody to work here. Doctors have
Yeah.
gotten into trouble. There's a Nigerian couple that are both doctors are in jail now because of that. You got to be
What
very
visa
careful
could you
because
even bring nanny on? I'm
there's
not
a
aware,
thin
like I know
line
the immigration one.
between there's a thin line between bringing nanny and somebody accusing you of modern day slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be very, very careful. You can't just say, "Oh, because this girl has been staying with me all these years, and let her just follow us now, Shebi," and then you get a visa for her, and then she comes here. She can just learn that okay, the way you can get your freedom from these people. Do you know? Is here they will advise her that they are using you, and then she goes to the authority and say, "You know what? They brought me here against my will," and you get into trouble. So yeah,
Auntie
be
B, can we
careful.
talk a bit about in this situation, baby Akinrele? Let's use the opportunity to talk about what could the mother have done differently if that baby was alive. What security or public funds already her visa says no recourse to public fund because she came in as a nurse, right? But again, what could she have done for everybody listening out there who is heavily pregnant right now, will be giving birth soon, or for those who have very tiny babies and still taking that risk?
So
What can they do? What facilities can they access?
I think she didn't want the baby. From everything I'm reading about the story, I don't think that Ruth wanted that baby. I think it was a baby that was accidental. It happened when she was not, she didn't plan it. So if you didn't plan a baby and you know that a baby does not fit into your life at the moment, there's no point having a baby. So keeping it was mistake. Okay, you kept it,
Hmm.
fine. Now that you had a baby,
Hmm.
you can give the baby up. Since the baby is going to mess up your work life, because obviously she wants to work, and you
Hmm.
can't do both. You cannot do both. Having a baby that is
Hmm.
so young and working, you can't do both. There's no way you can do both. Even if she was going to have a childminder, paying for that childminder, you would probably
But
use
but the
maybe,
UK has a foster care system.
of
That
course.
child could have
You
got
just need to tell your midwife,
into
or even
foster
before you
care
deliver, you can
when
tell them,
she
tell your
came in.
GP
The
that
midwives are always at your beck and call.
So Tonya, I
The
don't think
midwives,
you're hearing
the
me.
GPs that you're at your beck and call.
Our
Can
conversation
you hear me? Yes, I can
is
hear
not
you.
rhyming. It's like you are echoing, so we're bouncing off. I'm cutting in while you are talking, and I don't like
So
that.
sorry.
No, I think it's the audio. Your audio. Do you have headphones?
Okay. So no, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
So I was
So
saying that anybody in that shoe should please speak to your GP or your midwife. If before you deliver the baby, before your EDD, they get to know that you will not be able to cope, they can offer you a foster care. They are not taking away your baby. They can just help you keep that child in a different home until the child is grown enough. And you can always come to see that child. But that is when you open your mouth to tell the midwife. Again, they come to the house. You go to the hospital for appointment. I don't know why that was. Nobody even saw that because usually when you give birth, after 3 days, then 5 days, then 10 days, they come for home visit. So who were the people around? They usually ask how much support have you got in the house? Do you
hmm,
have any support? Like I thought that should have been picked up too by the midwife to be sure that she has extra support. You can't fake those things and say you can't keep saying that oh daddy his daddy her daddy went to work, her daddy like you're given a red book after the baby is born. And before the baby is born, you have a hospital book also. So that is when they ask who which other person has responsibility for this child. Not particularly the father, but they want to know do you have relatives, do you have extended support?
yeah,
So please, if anyone is in this shoe, speak to your midwife. Get
yeah,
if your child have to go
absolutely.
into foster, you can get that child back. They are
Hmm,
not taking your child away. Maybe just
hmm.
a couple of years, 2 years, 5 years, and you always have to go and visit that child.
But
And
she doesn't
going
want
to
the
home,
child anyway. So what's the point? If you don't want the child,
did she say that? We're not sure of that right now. But
Tonya,
see, we're
you
not
are saying,
speaking
did
to
she
her.
say that?
We are
How
talking.
else
We
can
know
she
what,
say it than leaving the child unattended, a
Auntie
10
B.
weeks old baby to go
Remember,
to
I
work?
said to you, I said let's speak to someone out there who is pregnant or who have a child, a
And that's
baby,
what I'm doing. That's what
and
I'm
is scared.
saying. I said she didn't want the baby.
It's
She
very
never wanted,
possible.
yeah, she never wanted the baby. There's no way a woman that wants a baby would leave that baby 10 weeks We're talking about, do you know
What
what
if there's a
wit
bit
means?
of mental health there? She wants the baby, but she's overwhelmed, and there's a bit of mental health.
Well, if there's mental health, the more reason why you shouldn't even keep the baby because you're not coping if you don't have any family support. Because we're not going to rule out how isolating it can be when you are in a new country. You have no support, no family, probably friends that are only work friends. That's incredibly isolating. Nobody really understands the isolation that people who are immigrants, especially if you are immigrating alone as a single person, the loneliness is very, very lonely. So all this she could have discussed with her doctor, her GP, to say, you know what, I don't think I have the capacity to look after
Absolutely.
this baby now. Is it possible
But
for me
we
to give
don't
this
cry for
baby up?
help.
Mhm.
Yeah, a lot of us from Africa, we would rather die in silence than speak out or ask for help.
Mm,
We're like, I'll
mm,
cope somehow. I'll be able to do it. I'll cope. I'll keep trying
mm.
until they break
So
down.
some people are saying that, yeah, thank you very much, Tonya, for your contribution. I really appreciate. Gotta move on because of time. Dr. O is saying that she doesn't think that Nurse Ruth had the mental capacity to make these decisions. But Cynthia is arguing counter. She's making a counter argument that mental capacity is not selective. If she had the mindset or the mind to go work and make money, then cook up a story to try to, say childminder had the baby and buying a one ticket to go, then yeah, I mean, you can argue that. I think I'm going with the fact that she didn't want the baby. It was just a baby that happened by accident. She didn't want the baby. She didn't care. And so yeah, that's what I'm going with. I don't think she wanted the baby. Yeah. Okay, Sissy, you're in the studio. How are you?
Hey, Auntie B, how are you?
I'm good, darling. So you grew up in Betna Green, in what's
Labrador
it called?
Grove, Labrador
Labrador
Grove,
Grove. I
opposite,
see.
opposite the fire station. That's where I grew up from when I came to the country as a baby till much later as a teenager. Yeah, that's my area.
That's why
That's
you're
where I
so
grew up.
sassy. I see. I can see. I see.
Anyways, this
Mhm.
story, oh my gosh, this story, it boils my blood, honestly. People, women that, I don't know, I find it really hard to have empathy because the victims are children.
Yeah.
So it's a different, I don't know, there has to be something that really has to have happened where I can say, okay, what's the justification? But I really find it hard to empathize because to me a lot of her behaviors, even somebody who is having a mental episode, there's so
Mm.
many things that mentally you wouldn't have the mind to
To
be able to
calculate.
be calculated.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
the mental argument goes out of the window. Somebody who's not
Yeah.
acting in their right mind, she would have left her home. Maybe she would have been scattered. She would have gone to work. She would have been incoherent or not able to do her job properly. People would have noticed that something is going on, something is not right, something is off with this person. But people, we always like to make, oh, mental health, mental health. It's not everything that is mental health. I'm sorry. We should stop using that as an excuse. There's just some people that I think about themselves and themselves only. There are a lot of women, they have wombs, but they're not mothers. They have no
Yes.
maternal instinct. They get pregnant, they have babies, they can throw those babies away like the baby is trash. There's no connection to that child for whatever reason. That's just how some women are. And I feel like this woman, the fact that they even said when she came home, her child was had already passed away. She wasn't even thinking to call the ambulance to say, oh, this has happened. She was still cooking up a story. She
Yeah.
still messaged the childminder to cover and say that the childminder had the baby and she picked the baby from her that morning. Is that somebody that is not mentally capable? Guys, please, come on. Just
So
call a spade what a spade is, a spade, and just say the kettle is black. And let's stop going round in circles and saying mental health. She's not got any mental in anything. I believe either the person who got her pregnant, she didn't want the baby, because I don't even understand why she's working at 10 weeks with a 10-week-old baby. But it could be that she came into the country, was already pregnant, gave birth, and then started working. That could be, because I've had somebody who, the woman was pregnant. She lied that she was pregnant during that she wasn't, no, she didn't say that, she didn't disclose that she was pregnant when she came to apply for a job. And then we hired her only to find out that she was like 6-7 months pregnant, right? So obviously she doesn't qualify for maternity. So I'm just thinking, could that have been the issue? But even if that was the case, there's still support that she could have asked for. Like somebody said, she gets a health visitor, right? At 10 weeks, you're seeing that person very, very regularly. So there would be no reason for her to say to be going to work and trying to chase money or whatever. So I just don't understand the steps. So to me, it's like somebody who didn't want the baby, and or she's been doing this before when she goes to work. It's worked in the past. She thought she could get away with it this time, and it just didn't work out this time that she left the baby unattended.
Mhm. So, because calculating to go buy a ticket one way to go back to Nigeria,
Exactly.
it doesn't
Why?
sound like what someone that is not
She had
mentally
already
stable do.
been arrested, and they had charged her with child neglect and endangerment or whatever, and she was charged to come back to court. Normally if you've not got a criminal record, they're not just going to put you in prison unless you're a danger to society and all these things, right? So
Yeah.
she had been charged already, and she knew she was only waiting for a court date to come back to court. Maybe the police are still working on the evidence to build a case against her, and during that time she had the mind to go get money and buy a ticket to go and make her way from Manchester to Gatwick. And you're
So,
telling me she doesn't have mental capacity? Come on, please.
for the people that are talking of empathy, yeah, I'm torn between that. It's okay to have empathy, but what about the baby? What about baby Joshua?
No, I don't have empathy for her.
Did
Sorry.
it deserve? Did it deserve to be deleted like that? Think about it. Just take 1 minute to think about it. So, I mean, Tonya was saying, what advice are we going to give to women out there listening? Adewale taught us this thing a while ago, that your gift, the biggest gift that you ever give anybody, is your womb. If you don't want to have children, please stop having unprotected kerewa. Stop having unprotected, even if you do mistake, have unprotected kerewa. Do something to make sure that it doesn't result in 9 months later you have a baby that you don't want. Please, she's a
Absolutely.
nurse, so she knows
And
what to
she's a
do.
nurse. I even
You
thought
know
she
what
was
to
maybe a
do.
cleaner or something. She's a nurse. You're out there caring. What kind of sick mind do you have? You're out caring for people in hospital, all the abuse, all the long shifts, all the stress in hospital, and you've left your baby at home, and a 10-week-old baby fresh out of your womb. I remember when my son was 10 weeks old. I've got 2 kids. 10 weeks old. That baby cannot do anything for themselves. They poo, they eat, they sleep on repeat, like every hour. So how would you leave a child? It's not even a child, it's a baby at 10 weeks unattended, nobody to check in, no supervision. Even if that baby was crying, how much feeding would you have fed that baby for it to be satisfied for 8 hours? Come on. That's just evil. And the person that's saying in the chat, oh, maybe I don't know, this Sherry Derry, you have a weird mindset and you should go and check yourself. You're saying, what if she needed to work? So her needing to work is more important than the
Than the
child that
life,
she's left at home, than
than
the
the life
life
of
of
that
her
child.
child. If you
Yeah.
have kids, I feel sorry for your kids, because your mindset tells me you're willing to do anything for money. And that's a sad and a shocking reality, and so it's hard for me to comprehend. If you're saying she really needed the money, okay, she needed the money, now she's landed in prison. Where's the money?
Mm.
Where's the money that she's making?
Yeah.
Is she making money behind bars?
Unfortunately, another life is involved here. So, guys,
No,
yeah, another life is involved. That baby did not ask to be born.
at
Okay?
all.
The baby did not ask to come to this world. We are the adults that take this decision to bring these poor souls into this world. Think about those hours that she left this baby alone at home. Think about the struggle that baby went through before crying like that. Come on now. That's too much.
if
This is
if that
babies.
woman, if she, I would have had compassion for her if she made the mistake to leave the baby on its own, but then maybe on her break she was making effort to maybe come back home to check the baby, to go back to work. I could understand that, okay, this person is acting in a desperate situation, there's something going on, she's trying. right? But you can't leave a baby for it's not even 8 hours. 8 hours is her shift. What about the time it took her to travel to work?
Yeah,
It took her to come. It's more than 8 hours. You've
yeah,
left that baby crying, hungry, pooing on itself, peeing on itself for 8 hours, and you're here telling me, oh, because she's looking for money, have compassion. You don't have compassion for that baby. You don't have compassion for that baby. That's a helpless, defenseless person that's just been left to what, to survive
yeah,
with no
yeah.
lifeline. And you're saying I should be empathetic for a grown ass woman that's chasing money. No, I'm not gonna be empathetic towards her. Sorry.
Please protect your womb. Protect your womb, women. This is 2020. This is the 24th, 22nd, whatever century we are in. There are,
21st.
I don't know, is it 21st or 22nd? Just
21st.
protect your goddamn womb. I'm tired of saying this. It's not, you can't be falling pregnant when you don't want to be pregnant. You don't need to be pregnant if you don't want a baby. The other day we were talking about IVF and the struggles that some poor women, some of who are still listening to us today, who are praying every day, trusting God, they spend money. One of the ladies here said she's done 4 cycles of IVF that has failed. Do you know how much it is? Do you know the mental torture, emotional torture of doing that? The finances that goes into that? So there are people out there who want babies that I don't know, they can't for whatever reason. And then you just allow yourself to be falling pregnant, you fall pregnant, and then you just, oh,
No,
it's sad. It's really, really sad. Thank you
it
so much,
is.
Sissy.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Chilling.
All right. Speak to you later. Bye, darling. Okay. Yeah. Protect your womb. If you don't want a baby, please stop having babies. Ẹjọ́ torí Ọlọ́run. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. It's not. You're not being fair on yourself. You're not being fair on that poor, innocent, very innocent baby. Okay. Welcome, Dr. O. You're in the building. Omire, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. I hope you're doing okay.
It's so lovely to hear your voice, my darling.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for bringing these issues to light. The last few shows have been so heartbreaking, and this is a very, very heartbreaking case.
Mhm.
Um, I think that we can all agree that this was totally, totally unacceptable on so many levels.
Mm.
And when I think about what that child went through for 8 hours, I mean, I just don't understand. I just wonder. Um, in my mind, I feel like there's just more to it, more to this story. And I just think that whatever happened in that 8 hours was something that was already going on. I don't think that this is the first time that she had left and neglected that baby like that. But at the end of the day, we'll never really know what actually happened. I'm here because I want to really talk about mental health.
Right.
I think that um, when we talk about mental health, um, and this may be my feeling, okay? I feel that we see people running in the market. We think about the severe cases where people have completely lost their mind. Um, and I think that the second thing that I've observed is I think we feel that when somebody has a mental health problem, then it affects every you know they're able to make good decisions and bad decisions in everything. Mental health. One second, please.
Okay,
Um,
guys, please give us a thumbs up. If you're just
and
joining the conversation, we are trying to educate people, parents, about laws in the West, about child safety, child protection. So if you are a parent, or you're going to be a parent someday, you need to learn. Until you are ready to be a parent, please don't be a parent. Women, because you are the ones that have the womb. If a man doesn't want a baby, they are going to abandon the baby for you. You are the one that is going to be left to care for that child. For the next 18 years, you are there. So that's why you need to protect your womb. Protect it, please. Don't fall pregnant. We are tired of people falling pregnant with babies that they don't want. It can be prevented. Let's teach our daughters that don't get pregnant until you have what it takes. In case anything happens, you're gonna end up with that baby. How many fathers do you know that are single fathers that that are the primary caregivers of those children? Even when marriages end, most times the children end up with you, the mothers. It doesn't matter if you are the one that found the cure for cancer. It doesn't matter the nature of your job. Be a emergency room doctor like Omeren here. You're still gonna be the primary caregiver of your children. So please, and then have the ones that you can take care of. Very important.
So, very good point there, Auntie B. So, Auntie B, have you ever heard of cases of people who are the devil incarnate in their homes and perfect people in society?
Of course.
Exactly. Those are some of those people can be called, some people will call those psychopaths. Some of those people are just wicked people. But a lot of those people are psychopaths or sociopaths.
Mm-hmm.
That is a mental health disorder. So a mental health disorder is a syndrome. That's a group of symptoms that affects your ability to think, your ability to behave. It's not an excuse,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when somebody acts in a weird way, I'm a single mother. I have stories that can fill a basket of of nanny problem and all that stuff. There are times when I've carried all my children and gone to work with me.
Hmm.
Okay, and I put them in an emergency room, in an emergency room in the back, and I'm talking to you know they're there with me for 12 hours in the hospital. That's a mother who cares for her children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The fact that this woman had the fact that this woman did, and other people have done it too. Nurses have done it too. One of my nurses have brought their children to work. We'll put them in the room. We'll make sure they have snacks and everything. We'll say, oh, this is, we'll tell the child, this is, work, like bring your child to work day. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Right. Because we want to take care of, and all of us will be kind of be checking on the child and making sure the child is okay. That is the mind of a mother. The fact that she even had the mind to go back to work, she came up with this whole story to cover her tracks. That tells me that she is likely a sociopath or a psychopath, something like that. But at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, the bottom line is that we can all agree that
Mm-hmm.
this situation was absolutely not normal.
Yeah.
Absolutely not normal
Yeah.
and absolutely wrong. But saying that someone has a mental health issue is not giving
An
that person
excuse.
an
Mm-hmm.
excuse. We need
Yeah.
to understand that
Mm-hmm.
people have mental health issues also look normal. They
Mm-hmm.
look normal, they behave normally, but they do evil, wicked, vile things. Actually, the people who are the most wicked and vile, those psychopaths who are the
Mm-hmm.
most calculating, are actually the people who do
High
the
intelligence.
best and most
Mm-hmm.
wonderful things in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we
So
need to understand that mental health, saying somebody has a mental health issue, it's a syndrome, it's not an excuse. And
mhm.
we can all agree that this was absolutely abnormal. And the definition of a mental health issue is a disorder in your ability to behave and act and think.
So, when the police said in their report that she didn't show any emotions, that threw me a little bit. I'm not going
Yes.
to lie, Omere.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
She said
Yep.
that she showed. zero emotions
Yeah,
throughout this
exactly.
whole thing.
Yep.
I'm like, it's not normal.
Yes, that is exactly because
At least you will be sad. You will
that's
even
how
cry.
that is how psychopaths behave. Psychopaths lack absolutely lack, they have no empathy. If you
Right.
dig deeper into this girl's life, unfortunately we don't have more information on this case. This is not the first time she neglected this child. We don't know her history. We don't know because the thing is, if a normal person say, okay, they were going to go and pursue money and they looked for, they left their child, whatever at home, and the child died. I mean, I would go to jail just for penance. I mean, I will not even be able to sit down and make plans to go to Nigeria. Ah, I
You will
mean,
even be broken. They will even see that you are sad that this happened.
yes.
Inside.
I mean, I will not even be able to move. A normal person will not be able to move. This girl called the child minder, and there was I actually heard, I read the report somewhere that the child minder had said that she had not seen the lady in some days or something
Yes,
like that.
yes, yes.
Yes, so she had been neglecting the child for a long time. So this girl had the mind to try to cover her tracks, to go back to Nigeria. That is not normal behavior at all for a person who was just, trying to go and look for money and everything. I don't even know if she actually. I mean, is it really hits that killed that child? Oh, sorry, not killed that pied that child. Is it really hit that pied that child, or did she do something or give that child something for the child to buy?
Hmm.
So this case is deeper,
It's deep.
is
Yeah.
deeper
Mm.
because her actions after and her actions before show clearly that this woman is absolutely not normal. And psychopaths are all about me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. They don't have any, they lack capacity to show empathy at all. She was not even sad that
Hmm.
the child, I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
I mean, I hear you. I hear you.
no.
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Mary. Thank
but
you for
as
your
far as
contribution.
but going back to our African parenting, I try to take parenting classes so to learn more, because we have to understand also that we are in a completely different society. We are in the diaspora right now. We're not in Africa where you have the whole village, you have the neighbors, you have three people. Like right now, I don't even know, I know my neighbors, but I don't know them that way. I cannot carry my children to my neighbor's house and say, oh, look, take care of my children while I go to work or that kind of thing. I cannot do that kind of thing. So as we come from African countries to America, neglect is a very, very big thing in our community. It's a widespread disease in our community, neglect of children, Auntie B.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
Mm-hmm.
issue in our community.
Mm-hmm.
It's an issue in our community.
Mm.
Neglect, pursuing the dollar over everything. I have, I have, I have left, I have left money on the table. I've left shifts on the table so that I can take care of my children. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I always tell my children, I say, look, I may be a doctor or whatever, but my assignment is to take care of you above all. We can lose the house, we can lose the car, we can lose everything, but I cannot lose you because I cannot buy you in the market. I can
Hmm.
always get another job. I can create a
Hmm.
job for myself. I can always get another car. I can always get another everything, but I cannot buy my children in a market. And
Hmm.
because of that, I put my children and myself. I put myself above my children because I have to be healthy to take care of my children. But I put them above everything because I cannot buy them in the market. So the real
Absolutely.
issue, this lady has some issue that we cannot really clearly define, but she was not normal. But for the normal people in our community, neglect is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Neglect is a big issue.
Yeah. Somebody who was a social worker here said that she's not shocked. When we started the show, I think her name is Debbie, said, Auntie B, 14 years I've been doing this job. I'm not surprised. I've seen, like, she literally meant she's seen this before. So this issue of neglect, I know that with some parents are bold, they neglect their children, but it is the age of the child that threw me. The age. Because when you hear newborn, this is a newborn, fresh out of the womb, immune system, everything low. The only immunization the boy has probably taken is BCG. Wow. Oh my shield.
And this is not the first. I don't think this is the first time.
Ah,
I don't think this is the first time
child.
because her actions, to even have the
So
mind to go back
painful.
to Nigeria, she was only thinking about herself.
It's even more painful when you look at other women who genuinely are so maternal and they've done everything to have a baby. Then you just allow one that you just allow one to delete like that. I see why people like Sissy are saying they have no empathy for her. Yeah, because it's terrible. It's really, really terrible what she did. Money for what? Again, we need to look at especially as Nigerians, our obsession with money.
Our Africans, Auntie B,
Because we
Africans.
are so obsessed with money. That's what
Yes.
we use money to define everything about our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Auntie B, you remember that story I brought about the nurse last year? Was it last
Mm-hmm.
year?
Remind
One
me.
of my nurses, my ER nurses who pied, we worked with her that morning. And then she pied because she was trying to save up for big wedding.
Hmm.
Remember?
I
Maybe
can't
you don't
remember.
remember.
Remind me
This is
again.
a
Tell
long
us
time
the
ago,
story
a year and a
quickly.
half. I think it's about a year and a half ago. We were working. She was doing all kinds. She was doing 7-day shifts. She was doing all kinds of shifts. She was working like, if there are 30 days in a month, she worked like 28 of those days. Something crazy because she was saving up for money. We worked together that day. We came back the next day to work, and we heard we she was late, and she was not at work. We were like, where is she? She's always here. Where is she? She's always here.
Yeah,
Only for
I
her
remember
son to
now.
call and say,
Mhm.
she pied, oh, she went. She
She
pied.
didn't even live long enough to do the wedding she's saving for.
Yeah.
Mm.
Obsession with money, obsession with let us
Impress. Want to show
let's
them.
appearances.
Mhm.
Appearances, and
Yeah.
befitting appearances, and you know um you
To
know
impress people. It's to impress
exactly,
people. Yeah.
exactly.
It's money for
Shame.
Africans. Black people we like to impress. Yeah,
All
mainly to
these things
impress
come
people.
from shame, Auntie B.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame. Competition.
Yeah.
Shame. Yeah.
Thank
So
you, Miriam.
we cannot
Nice
buy our
one.
children in the market, oh. We cannot.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
There's only one of them. Only one of them, and they're not replaceable. So, I, for one, I'm willing to lose everything, but except myself and my children. I'm willing to go homeless, God forbid, but except myself and my children. As a single mother, I understand completely. I'm not a single mother, I'm a single parent. I understand
Mm.
completely every side, but I will never jeopardize my children for the
Mhm.
sake of any money. Yeah, but as far as this case is concerned, this thing is deeper. And if she's allowed to have another child again, she will do it again. Oh, even if I suspect it is my hallucination that even if she had the perfect circumstances, she had childminder at home, husband XYZ, she will still neglect this child.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my
People
personal.
like that, I don't know. It's just that you can't blame God. People like this should not be parents. They shouldn't have the ability to conceive. Yeah, God should just look at your heart and see, are you maternal? Are you fit to be a parent? Both men and women. And then he will put that ability in you. That's what it should be. But again, you know how
I think so.
I wish it works like that. Thank
And
you
but
so
but
much.
and we have another question. So
Mm.
she's sentenced to just 3 years in jail.
Yeah, you look at UK legal system. I keep telling you here
Wow.
they are very, very lenient too.
Wow.
If not that she even ran,
That's
she
like a
probably will
slap
not
on
go
the
to
cheek.
jail. I'm
Wow.
telling you. If not that she even ran, they will probably not sentence her to jail.
Are
Do
you
you know
serious?
that this morning, as I was taking my son to the station, I heard in the news that this man who was working in BBC, his name is Hugh Edwards. was one of their biggest broadcaster, was earning all this big money. Then they caught him recently, was involved in all sorts of things that he shouldn't be doing, having children's images and things like that. Do you know that he's not going to jail?
Huh?
Yes. I was this morning. They say he's not going to jail. They didn't give him any custodial sentence. They
Wow.
now said that his psychological evaluation, they did mental health. Oh, those you are here, you are the one that listen to news more than me. Did you hear the news about Hugh Edwards?
Yes, I did.
They say he's not
It's
going to jail.
yeah, it is surprising, but when you look at how the law works, they can only give them the maximum of what they can give, and they will have to look to the point where he has never ever had any case before. Did he physically do any damage to anybody? Things like that, which I don't think is right because he's still gonna get all this pension from BBC, and that's where all the anger comes in.
So if it's America, he will be looking at maybe 25 years in jail. That's the difference between
Yes.
UK and America. Yeah, Americans don't joke with those sentences. They hand them out like it's a hey, Jesus. Yeah. So 3 years. Yeah, that's what their sentences here is a joke. Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm, it's a joke. Omeran, thank you so much for calling in, darling. Appreciate you. Have a good afternoon. Love you to the moon and back. Yeah. Okay. Dosh, hold on. Let me just Lady J, what's wrong with your connection? Are you in the studio? No, I don't think I've added you. I can't see you properly. Can you fix your internet, please? Guys, please give us a thumbs up. Dosh, this one you're in the studio today.
Oh, no,
Welcome.
I just wanted to come in on the point of, information because the problem that we have I would say Nigeria, because I don't know much about other part of Africans, we do not take information seriously. We don't take information as anything. I'll set an example. For example, today, I was trying to tell my cousins, one of my cousins called me and said, "Oh, our other cousin is here doing a master degree." And I said, "Okay, what does his visa say? Is he allowed to work?" He said, "Yeah, he's allowed to work 20 hours, but not be today. If he do any hours when he wants." I went, "No. If his visa says do 20 hours, that's what he should do." He said, "People
Oh.
they do them now." And I
Mhm.
said, "Look, not be everybody they will catch one person. That by the side." The reason I cited this example is when you have a baby in the UK, whether you just came in, you just have a new job, everybody is entitled to maternity leave. You may not be entitled to maternity pay, but everybody is entitled to maternity leave. So when you get that leave and money is not coming in, is where I think this woman did what she did. And this
Yeah.
is not a shock to me. I've been in HR a very long time. I've had someone confidently told me that, "Oh, I beg, I leave my picking for house, so I feel they go early." This is Nigeria to Nigeria. And I have to tell you that I was shocked. The
Mhm.
only thing I did is like, yeah, I don't, you need to go home now and look after that child. This was
Mhm.
years ago. So
Mhm.
this woman, what she's done is criminal because she
Mhm.
wasn't thinking of this child when she left that child and went to work.
Mhm.
Wasn't thinking of that child when she bought a ticket and tried to flee. She
Mhm.
wanted to get away with it. The
Mhm.
child was too young for that. And I don't know if she newly came into the country or not, but I think a lot of the information they come with from Nigeria or from Africa is that, "Oh, don't worry, government will give you money to do this. Government will look after your child." They don't look into what the information really is.
Mhm.
So if we can educate our people, look into the information. What is the rule about every single thing?
They
The
won't
reason
read
our
it
country is
though.
the way it
Even if
is
they give
because
them a contract, they will not read it.
they will not read it. It's very,
Mm-mm.
very important.
Mm-mm.
And that is the point I just want to bring in. Because
Our people will rather collect information from other people than actually read their own what their own contract says.
agreed.
If she got a job from
100%.
Nigeria, they offered her a contract. She would rather go and ask other people than read it.
Yes, completely
Mhm.
agree. So I agree with Cynthia 100%. I have no empathy from that woman. And I'm surprised they're giving her 3 years, but I know how the UK law is. I wish this was America. Yeah, they will hang 100 years on his neck, on her neck. Eh?
Mhm.
So I just wanted to speak about the information. If we have anybody coming, please, whether they are listening to you or not, please tell them this is the rule in the UK. It's not Nigeria. UK said if you think your child is old enough to look after themselves, then you can leave them alone. Before it was 14 years. But they now found out that some children at 12, 13, they know how to look after. And they now said, if you think, but
No,
that does not say you should leave a 10-week-old baby at home. It's
no.
wrong.
Actually, the what this child what are they called? The child NSPCC.
Yes.
Yeah, NSPCC says that children under 16 should not be left alone overnight.
Yes. That is the
And
rule.
children under 16 should not be made to care for other younger children.
Yes.
So, before the age of 16, you shouldn't leave your children at home alone overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So, that means even leaving them, okay, like a 16-year-old, you can leave them during the day, But you know our people now, if they have younger ones, they'll say, ẹ̀gbọ́n ni ẹ jàre, tọ́jú àwọn àbúrò ẹ,
And they will say, when I was your age, I was looking after my three siblings. Huh?
They will
So
say,
please, let's
after
be
all,
guided.
I started looking after my younger ones when I was 10 years old. So what are you? They will even be telling them to go and cook. They will using phone to control them. Have you cooked for your younger one? Have you done this? Okay. Hmm.
Well, may God help us.
Rick,
Thank you for the opportunity, Auntie B.
thank you so much. Your audio is so good. I wish everybody's audio is so good. It's so clear. Thank you. Thank you, my
All right.
darling.
Bye
Okay,
now.
bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay, Lady IJ. I can see you now. You at work. I can see you on your
I work
scrubs.
from home. Yeah, kinda.
Okay. You're right.
Good evening, Auntie B.
Mhm.
Good evening, everybody. So when I read this case initially, I was like, "Oh my God, this girl literally left her kid at home and went to work because she needed to work." But then I went down and I saw that she had a childminder, and I'm like, "Okay, this is something crazy." But I've listened to what everybody has said. There is no excuse for what she has done. She's supposed to be punished because she unalived the baby, which is a no-no. And even if she didn't want the child, she probably would have given the child up for adoption or something rather than doing that what she did. It's
Mhm.
also true that there's a high possibility that this is not the first time she's done it.
Yeah.
Probably done it multiple times and I've gotten away with it. And this last time just caught up with her.
Yeah.
And I would also like to lean in towards what Dr. O was saying, that there is a possibility that it is also mental, because looking at everything, it doesn't add up.
Mhm.
Plus the fact that she was an emotional when she got sentenced and everything, it does not add up. And what we fail to understand is that when somebody, especially, there's also something I want to talk about is postpartum psychosis. I know a lot of people know about the postpartum depression, but psychosis is rare and is a medical emergency. So some people will have like a full blown psychosis. That's where you hear a mother gave birth to a child and killed the baby. Or I mean, unalive the baby. My bad. And it goes from as mild as neglecting your child, not feeding them or not cleaning them and changing their diapers, to unaliving them. So I'm thinking that in between the line, this girl is suffering from something more than just being stupid. I know stupid is part of what she's dealing with, because nobody with their right mindset is going to do something like that. Although some people are doing it, which they fall under the stupid category too. So, um, the punishment that they gave her, I think that it is light, and I also hope and pray that they also give her like psychological evaluation and treatment, because I'm sure there's something going on with her mentally that will cause her to
So
do something like
what
that.
they are gonna do, what I suspect that they will do, because she was employed, she's probably employed from Nigeria. As soon as she's here in the UK on a work visa. That's why she's staying in a nurse's accommodation. So that's an employment visa. So that's gonna be cancelled now because she can never work as a nurse again in the UK. And as soon as she gets out of jail, they're gonna put her on a plane to go back to Nigeria.
So another thing that I wanted to say, somebody said we should learn, we should educate, especially those that are coming, about the laws of London, America, wherever they are going to. It's very important that they do that, because I visited home probably at the beginning of this year, and I went home with my 2 year old, and there was this lady who was a neighbor. She had a 3 month old baby, and she left the baby at home and went to work. So they brought the baby into the house, and I was carrying the baby. When the baby started crying, I was like, "Where's the mother?" And they said, "Oh, she's gone to work." I said, "Okay, who is watching after this kid?" Mind you, the person that was watching after this kid was the 6 year old sister.
Hmm.
And that's the only person at home. I almost lost it. Like, I was so scared. I said,
What would
okay,
a 6-year-old know how to
yes.
do?
So
Oh
basically, the
my
kid was
God.
outside with other kids playing with the baby. And I'm like, okay, who does that? Like, I was so scared, and I asked, and they said, you know what, she does that all the time, and it's okay. And it was so scary that a baby like that was left with another baby, and
Hmm.
people do it a lot back home.
People have people. I don't know the kind of mind that people have to make to take such risk. I can never do it. I'm
Yeah,
not going to lie. I
it's
can't.
crazy. And they say,
Mhm.
they always try to bend the connotation that a family, you know a child is raised by a village doing stuff like that.
So the
And
villagers are children, right?
I do not know. I was so scared. Like, I'm like,
When they say a child is raised by a village, does it mean that it's children that raise children? I mean, our people will just say any gibberish to
and to
support
be,
whatever
it's
they are
just,
doing.
it's stupidity. That's just what it is. And I just, it's so sad that that child lost his life. And I hope that people who are listening, they're in the same situation, and just look for help. You can't do that. You cannot do that. It's a no-no.
Yeah,
If you can't take care of the child, you can give the child off for adoption. It's open. They have different kinds of adoption. They even have systems where somebody can just keep the adopt the child for a short while you get yourself together, and you can always file paperwork and get the baby back. There are a lot of other ways that they can do that. Don't
right.
jeopardize a baby's life. Thank you, Auntie B.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, my darling. Lady IJ, I appreciate you, my darling. God bless you. Do not jeopardize the baby's life. That's what IJ is telling us, and she's completely spot on. So, Ada, you are the next caller, and I think I'm going to just end the show with you. But before I come to you, I wanted to read this. People have been talking about maternity pay, maternity leave, and all that. Yeah, we don't know the situation with reference to her maternity pay. However, like we said, these are all ways that people are still looking for to justify what she had done. There is no excuse for it. Whether you are entitled to maternity pay or you are not entitled to maternity, it doesn't matter because we are talking about human life. I don't think people get the gravity of what we're talking about. You keep talking about maternity leave, maternity pay, or maybe she need money to pay rent. Maybe she, no, this is a human life. This is a child. We're talking about a child, helpless. They can't do nothing for themselves, depend on you. So it doesn't matter your circumstances, whether you are entitled to maternity leave or maternity pay, you need money for rent, it doesn't matter. It is better for your landlord to kick you out that you cannot pay rent than for you to abandon a 10-week-old baby. Let the landlord go to get court and get a bailiff to evict you. And moreover, she was staying in a nurse's accommodation. So the nurses accommodation is not even probably not publicly rented. So if you miss rent a week or a month or 2 months, it's not the end of the world. You just had a baby. People will have more empathy for you if you cannot make rent than you say, "Oh, I had to go and work because I needed money to pay rent." There is no excuse for going to work and leaving a 10 weeks old baby alone. Please, Ejo Tori Olorun. No excuse. Ada, welcome, my dear.
Thank you, Auntie B. First time caller here. It's just because this story really resonates and really hits close. That's why I called in. Auntie B, you won't believe in the part of the world where I stay, it's more common than than it's been heard. It's just unfortunate that this happens to this baby. But
Which
I
part of
have
the world do
colleagues,
you live?
Australia. But I have colleagues, friends, and acquaintances. They even brag with it. Only thing is, not as young as this baby.
Okay.
They tell you, I don't train my pikin like that. That's why I train them. Some two, some three. This not even this one. Some most of them sometimes husband and wife living together in the same house, pick
Hmm.
up night shift and leave kids. Understandably, the oldest maybe would maybe be 10, 9, and then have maybe 7 and then 3. They'll be at work. You'll be working with someone and you'll be like, who is at home? Is your husband at home? Be like, no, he's at work.
Hmm.
And who is looking after the baby? Oh, I'll call. They'll call and
Hmm.
you'll be with them. They'll be calling and checking up on the kids. How are you doing? Have you eaten? They'll tell you, I kept the cornflakes here. I kept the milk here. He pour for your younger sister now. Pour for your younger brother now. Okay, is the youngest one sleeping? Or yeah, take the phone, turn the camera, let me see. This is very, very common.
Hmm.
Very, very common. And then
Hmm.
you see them going back to back shift. I don't want to mention nationalities or names and all of that. On top of that, that person you're talking to is still pregnant.
Now be juju be that.
The person is still pregnant. And I'm there thinking, you cannot even take care of the ones at home. You and your husband, you're doing shift, night shift, morning shift, day
So
shift,
they
doesn't
can have
even
time
matter.
to kerewa to have another
Yes,
to make another baby.
yes, they will tell you, it's bragging rights. Now, so, now, I've trained them like that. I've told them if you don't hear my voice, don't open the door. If you don't hear mommy's voice, don't open the door. So the kids will be inside watching TV, playing games. It's abroad now. There's 24 hours electricity. Maybe you
Hmm.
put one or two cameras inside the home, just you check one or two times. But when the shift is very busy, you barely have 10, 15 minutes to even touch your phone.
Hmm.
So maybe when you're on your break, you call for what 30 minutes, and then you check on them, check if they've eaten, check if the other one is sleeping, using for sometimes for days. I might see you morning shift on a Monday, and I meet you on Tuesday afternoon shift, and you're boldly telling me you've not gone home.
And there's been no incident with all these immigrants that are doing this. No incident with
Luckily,
child protective services. No accident. Nothing.
I haven't heard. Will they tell me? They're
Hmm.
scared of you reporting them. They might have had, but will they come and tell you that this is what happened? Because they want to brag that their kids are doing better, they are more independent, or maybe you're
Oh,
doing something wrong with
neglect.
your kid.
Oh, child neglect is something to brag about, eh?
It's Nigerians or maybe Africans. I don't know because definitely not the whites. I haven't seen. I haven't heard. They're the ones that be like, oh, maybe bragging right that they've trained their kids to be more independent. Or let's say you are working a shift and maybe you and your husband you're swapping, you have a baby at home or you have a child at home and in your family you've chosen that oh one parent must be home at all times regardless. So if there's a shift clash or maybe the distance for the other parent to get to shift is farther, and you'll be like, oh, can I leave home? Can I leave like 10 minutes early? Or if this person comes, can I go before you? Are you happy to stay, like wait for the other staff if the staff is running late? They'll be like, oh, why? You going for another shift? You'll be like, no, my partner has to go to work. And then they say, why? He's watching the child or he's watching the kids. They'll be like, that will not be problem now. Knock am nicer house now. Not be only 10 minutes, you go reach. You arrive before he can live there for 10 minutes. You will get there within 10 minutes, right? You say yes. I like freely, it's nothing, it's not a big deal.
Hmm.
That's how common it is.
Hmm.
So I've seen not I like it's just it's casual. Maybe they feel maybe because you're black, you're coded, you won't say anything.
You won't
So
report them. Hmm.
yes,
So the
so they
children
just
there
say it
don't report. They don't
openly.
used to disclose in school because over here the children would have told someone in school. They don't tell their teachers what's going on. They don't ask them. They know they ask them, say, "How is mom and dad? How is home life? What's going on? Is your dad at home? Your mom at home?" They know they ask them question for Australian schools. The
I have
children.
no idea. My son isn't up to that level yet, so I don't know what
Ah,
happens in
okay.
that
Ah,
sector. Yeah, yeah. I have no idea.
Okay.
No, I believe
Yes.
it's just for the love of money. Just when you're
Hmm.
addicted to that's the only thing I can call it. Just when you're used to saving a certain amount every fortnight or every week, you just cannot lose it, or you just can. Some people, it's very hard for them to cancel shifts.
So they can make those money. They can, both husband and wife can be doing 24 hours, whatever shift they are doing, but they cannot afford childcare, or that money for childcare is waste, eh? They want to keep
They'd rather,
everything and send it to Nigeria too.
yes, they'd
Uh,
rather build big houses,
build
buy
houses
big
and
cars,
buy. Yeah, yeah.
and
Somebody
live really
said,
large.
Sherry said that it happens here in Southern California, and too. They have cameras, but the same people are driving 80K cars. Yeah,
Yes,
it's okay
yes.
until it
That's just
happens.
what I wanted to
Yeah, until it happens. You know, everybody, you know, Nigerian will sabi say, God forbid. God forbid, I rebuke it, I reject it. Then it will be your portion. Then it will happen. Then that God forbid, God forbid, you know that God will only forbid what you yourself you forbid. And even if they don't catch you, even if they don't catch you, in your own mind, you don't know that you are doing the wrong thing. Like Dr. O said, what is money? What is money? What is money that Nigerians want to buy themselves, Africans want to buy themselves because of money? You see, when I talk about poverty mentality, people say, I don't understand. We have to hustle, jare. We have to work. Who doesn't like money? Everybody likes money. We like what money can give us, but there's a poverty mentality that no matter how much you have, you will still reason like somebody that is broke. And you will do things like somebody that is broke. Otherwise, if you have both parents, a dad and mom that are working, both of you professional, maybe you are nurses, you are doing long hours every day. Why can't you pay for childcare? It's waste of money now. Go work pay. Poverty mentality. Grace says called parentification is a form of child abuse which severely impact affects on the children. With severe effects on the children. Children who have been parentified struggle with this for life. Okay. Never heard that word before. Parentification. Wow. So be careful not to parentify your children, no. Not turn children to parent, oh. Because obodoyibo children, they're quite different from Nigerian raised or African raised children. They will tell you when they grow up. They will tell you what you did, and they will confront you. You know them. They don't have a silencing culture like the way we have in Naija. Kiniko. No, they will call you. They even call you out on social media. Go, you go take. All right, let's do the right thing. It's not even about the law. It's not about, It's about safety. It's just about safety. Because even this one that the other caller was saying that they say, it takes a village to raise a child. Back in the day, in this same village that we're talking about, there's always a grandmother around. The children were not totally left on their own. There's always a grandmother, a grandfather, uncles who are old that they don't go to farm or markets anymore that are around to watch children. Children were never totally left by themselves. So I don't know. I don't know. Uh I mean, the struggle of Obodoyibo is real, but wisdom is profitable to direct. We just have to be wise in whatever we're doing. Because some people, they look for this money, they lose themselves. They look for this money, they lose their children, they lose their family, they lose everything that is important. All because you are looking for money. So let us learn. This roots experience, let's learn from it. Mm. Don't leave your children unattended. Don't say, because nobody will know. Shebi, we have to manage. Whatever it is, always plan. Make plans around how you can work. Maybe if your children are, if you're a single parent, you have to work like, one of my friends here told me, said, when I do all my hours during holidays, I work heavily during long holidays. But when children are in school, I plan I will schedule around their school. The children need to be in the center. You are the one that should planning around them. It is not them that should be planning around you. No, you wait. Me adult, let me come and do my own first. Then, if I have time, then no. You have to be scheduling around their own because they are children. So what do? They go to school. If they have sports like you in America that have a lot of sports and other social school activities that the children do, you have to be scheduling around them. And kudos to all these amazing, amazing parents. Dr. O, I know you are sitting very pretty on this table. God will bless you. You will eat the reward of your labor over your children. Every parent out there, whether you're a single parent, you are a two parent household, you are co-parenting with the other parent from a different household, and your children are your priority. You're putting them first, not the almighty dollar or pounds or euro. You putting your children because it's about their well-being. Well-being. This is what it's about. Are they going to grow up tomorrow to resent you, cuss you out, and call you names? Or are they going to grow up and say, you know what? My parents made me a priority. It was hard for them. They are immigrants. They struggled, but I always came first. Do your children feel like they are first? That you put them first? Or they are you just pass them around, ship them to anywhere you see, or you just leave them and do whatever you like? Money is very, very important, but money is not everything. Yeah, some people have money, but they've lost so much more than money. May God not allow us to lose ourselves, all because we are looking for money. Some people have money, but their children are struggling with serious mental health issues. A woman told me the story of how her son has been in hospital for over 2 years now. Not physical health to pay, is in hospital for treatment of any kind of sickness in his body, mental health. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? May the Lord give us wisdom. Please prioritize your children. Always make your children first. They are priority. They are priority. Your children have to be number one. Please. The Lord will give us the enablement and the wisdom to be able to strategize and schedule and do everything. I know it's not easy, whether you are a single parent or two parent, whatever your situation is not always easy because the bills have got to be paid. However, as I always say to people, sacrifices need to be made. Either you make the sacrifices to ensure your children have the right upbringing, or you're gonna, God forbid, pay daily for it. Have you guys seen what is happening on social media with obodooyinbo children? What is happening now in the abroad? Are you not seeing what is happening? Do you know what these children are exposed to every day on social media? Do you know the things they are using to entice them every day? TikTok, are you following them to watch TikTok videos or Snapchats? We have to be very, very intentional. Parenting is even harder today than it was ever. Because, especially for diasporan parents, we have a lot of things, a lot of struggle. That because they want to, our children, they want to turn them upside down. But God will not. Ọlọ́run ò ní gbà o. Ọlọ́run ò ní gbà. That's why I encourage every parent here. Even if you don't know how to pray for yourself, always pray for your children. If you are a Christian, always cover your children with the blood of Jesus. Make sure you soak them, because the forces that after children in this part of the world is not only just behavior, it's spiritual. Alone, it's spiritual. Yeah. So you guys, tie your gedu properly, tie your belly if you want to be a parent in this day and age. In this day and age. Because the things that they are teaching out there today. Ọlọ́run á gbà fún wa o. Yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. If you know any parent that needs to hear this, send this video to them. It's very, very important that you send it to them so that they will learn from Ruth's experience. Yeah, it's not until it happens to you. Like I always said, it's better to learn from other people's experience, because once it's a negative thing, if you don't learn, God will not make it your own portion. But we need to make hay while the sun shine. Thank you so much, everybody. Please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not yet done so. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I am on Facebook now. Hey! Obodoyinbo TV is on Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook page. Look for us on Facebook. We're on Facebook. Oh, can you believe it? Yes, we're on Facebook. Look for us. Just look for Obodoyinbo TV on Facebook. It's a group. Try and join the group. Yeah, I'm going to share the information with. I don't know. I didn't log in. Let me see if I can share it before I go. Let me share it here before I go. Yeah, give us a thumbs up. I'm ending the show now, but I'm going to share the link here for those of you on Facebook. Yeah, they dragged me to Facebook finally. The Lord has done it finally. 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 We are on Facebook finally. Back on Facebook. Yeah, we have a group on Facebook now. So, share. I don't even know how to work it. I don't know. I don't know. I've not been on Facebook for years, but they finally dragged me back. They convinced me finally that in order for us to grow to the next level, that we need to be there. But I don't think I've even. Yeah, that's the link there in the comment section. So if you're on Facebook, just use that link and follow the page. So Obodoyinbo TV is called. Yeah, follow it there. I can go live there. Sisi. Okay, I've heard. All right, I'm back on Thursday. Thursday we are back, and what are we talking about? Yeah, we have a true life situation on Thursday. Medical doctor in the UK, imported wife situation, and she needs advice. Imported wife said, my husband is a medical doctor, but at night he slap. The slap is too much. I can't take it anymore. I don't want to call police. What should I do? Help me. Help me. So the doctor that slaps at night, his story is loading on Thursday night. So these are the real imported wife stories. Don't take your wife abroad. Don't take your wife abroad. It is that situation. She said, I can't take the slap anymore, but I don't want to call the police on him because I don't want anything that will affect his career. Okay? So come on Thursday and come and advise imported wives. Especially you brothers. You are the ones that are always sharing that video. Once you bring them here, they do this. Come and advise your brother. There is a doctor in the day slapping at night before they will call police. Because if he doesn't stop, yeah. Thank you very much. I'll see you on Thursday night. Brothers, please come in on Thursday and come and advise this young man because this is not good enough. We're not going to advise her to stay there and be collecting slap every day. Nah. I can't do that. I will never do that because life is much more important. If he decides to be unfortunate and he wants to ruin his own career by slapping his wife daily, then it's on him. It's on him. But when she does call the police now, what is he going to do? He will say, hey, I brought her abroad and she arrested me. He will not say what he was doing, no. Okay. All right. I shall see you guys on Thursday night. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks to everybody that called in. May the Lord continue to bless and keep us and give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to raise our children in a very healthy and safe way, and that we will not get into trouble. Our children will grow up to be well-balanced members of the society, and they will bring us glory and bring us joy all the days of our lives. In Jesus' name. Thank you so much, everybody. See you on Thursday night. Bye, guys.